Hello, tropical fish keepers. Welcome to a very special episode of Aqua Alex Live. I'm your host, Aqua Alex Cardinale. I hope you are doing great today. I want to welcome you to a very special Sunday evening edition of Aqua Alex Live. For the first time ever on Aqua Alex Live, I am going to be doing a Fish Keepers Q&A. Now, this Q&A is going to be a monthly series. This is going to air once a month, and it's going to be on a Sunday night of each month. So this month, today is going to be our Q&A. So today I am doing my Q&A for the month of August. So I'm going to be answering each and every one of your tropical fish keeping questions. I cannot wait to see which tropical fish keeping questions I have to answer. Now, I am very knowledgeable in both freshwater and saltwater, so I look forward to answering your tropical fish questions. I'm also going to ask you, my audience members, some questions that you can answer as well. And then I will also have a couple of topics that I will discuss during my Fish Keepers Q&A. So this really is an opportunity for my fish keeping audience to interact with me, Aqua Alex, pick my brain on tropical fish, and have a good time on a Sunday night. So I would like you to ask any tropical fish questions you have, whether they are freshwater or saltwater. Post your questions in the comments starting right now, and I will answer them in today's live stream. Now, if you are catching this video after it has aired live, what I will do is I will put your question to next month's question and answer. Okay, so all of your questions will be answered. If you comment live, I will answer them live. And if you comment in the archived version of our video, I will forward your question to next month. So I look forward to answering your questions. Alrighty, we have our first viewer, and he has a wonderful question. This is a very loyal viewer of mine, so thank you, Steve's Aquatics, for tuning in. And Steve's Aquatic asks, Alex, I know you like monster fish, but what is your favorite small schooling fish? That is a great question. In 2013, I had my very first community aquarium, and in that aquarium, I had angelfish, I had otocinclus, and rummy-nosed tetras. So for me, I personally would choose otocinclus and rummy-nosed tetras as my favorite small schooling fish. Now, a lot of people say I'm not into community fish. I just like the predatory monster fish. That's not particularly true. The only reason being I tend to only have monster fish is because I'm limited to only a few aquariums. But in the future, when I'm able to have more aquariums, I definitely will have a community aquarium again. And I definitely will have rummy-nosed tetras and otocinclus once again. Now, otocinclus, they remind me of another great algae eater that comes from South America. And I actually have 4 of them, which I'm going to talk about a little later on in today's video. They are flagtail procelotus, and they're an amazing freshwater algae eater. On Tuesday, I'm doing another species profile episode of Aqua Alex Live, and it will be on the flagtail procelotus. So I am very much looking forward to that. So that was a great question, Steve. Thank you for the first question of the evening. Now, I'm also going to be asking my viewers questions as well. So you are free to answer my questions in the comments as well. And these are the questions that I'm asking all of my viewers, whether you're live or you're archived. So, my first question is, what is your favorite tropical fish species? My next question I'm asking you is, what do you enjoy the most about the aquarium hobby? And lastly, if you were to open a tropical fish store, what would set you apart from the other fish stores in your area? So those are three very intriguing questions, and I'm very interested in seeing some of the fish keepers' responses. Now, I know I was really late promoting this episode of Fish Keepers Q&A. I've been really busy with work and some other things going on in my personal life. But starting next month with our next episode, I'm going to have this Q&A promotion figured out, and that way we'll get some more interaction and some more questions and some more answers. So those are the questions that I am asking you, and I think it's only fair that I answer the questions too. So I'll start. So for me, my favorite tropical fish species, it's a really hard question. So I'm going to give you a top 5 favorite tropical fish species that I have. And this is just off the moment. So I could have many more than 5. But for this video, I'll just give you a top 5. The first is the flagtail procholotus. Then it's the armatus pariah. Then it would be the vulture catfish. I really enjoy them. Then it would be the silver arowana. I really enjoy keeping and raising the silver arowana. And last but not least would be the tiger shovel-nosed catfish. Those are my 5 favorite tropical fish species. So the next question, what do you enjoy the most about the aquarium hobby? For me, what I enjoy the most about the aquarium hobby is going out and purchasing new fish. It's always very exciting for me. I'm like a kid in a candy store when it comes to buying new fish species. So I always look forward to going to the fish store. Another thing that I really enjoy the most about the aquarium hobby is raising fish from juveniles all the way into adulthood and selling them for profit. That is something that I really like. And I also, when I do that, I make sure they're going to a really, really good home because I am a responsible fish keeper and I try to be responsible with all the fish that I home. 9 times out of 10, I am responsible. But just last month, I thought I was giving my tiger shovel-nose and my marble acara to a good home, but like many of you guys know, he turned around and brought them to the fish store for money, and God knows where those catfish went. So those are the things that I enjoy the most about the aquarium hobby. Now, if I were to open a tropical fish store, what would set me apart from the other fish stores? Well, I would be a judgment-free fish store, meaning I would not single out monster fish keepers for liking monster fish. I would not single out community fish keepers for liking community fish, or I would not just stick to one side of the aquarium hobby. I would personally make sure that I had monster fish in stock for all the monster and predatory fish lovers. I would have community fish in stock for all the community fish lovers. I'd have plenty of goldfish and koi just to make sure that people that like goldfish and koi, they have them there. I would have many different kinds of bettas because bettas are a really, really interesting part of the aquarium hobby. A lot of people to this day still love bettas, and there are many different types of fancy designer bettas now. So I'd make sure to have plenty of them in stock because I can guarantee you a lot of fish stores these days are making a lot of money on bettas and the koi and stuff. And then for saltwater, I would stock everything from clownfish to the rarer fish and also corals. So that's the livestock side of things. When it comes to supplies, I would make sure that I have every single solitary company that is out there, like Aquarium, Marineland, Hikari, all the major companies, as well as the smaller companies as well. I noticed that some in my area, at least, some of the fish stores down here, they're only stocking the big brands, and that's probably because those are the only ones that people know of. But you have to show love to the smaller companies as well. So I would stock both big brands and smaller brands as well. And the last thing is I would hire knowledgeable employees. If I was to have a fish store, the first thing I would do is screen each employee for aquarium hobby knowledge. If they pass, they're hired. I won't say if they won't pass, they won't be hired, but I would certainly train them the right way of how to maintain an aquarium and how to keep fish so that that can be beneficial to my customers if I were to ever open a fish store. Never say never in this world. Someday I could wake up a millionaire and be able to open my own fish store. So that's something I would really like in this world is if I were able to open up my own fish store. All right. So we have some answers to the questions that I just asked. This is from my good friend Steve. And we'll go with the first question that I asked. Steve said his favorite tropical fish right now is a female red Terra. Now, those are an absolutely gorgeous cichlid that come from South America. Fiestes are what they're called. Very gorgeous fish. If you have not heard of a South American fieste, make sure you do a Google research. It's a very, very gorgeous specimen. Now, Steve says what he enjoys most about the aquarium hobby is raising and breeding of fish. And that is pretty interesting. I've only bred one species of fish, and that was on accident. That was actually a pair of koi angelfish. And I did not breed them on purpose. They bred on their own, but it was pretty cool. Unfortunately, they ended up eating their own eggs. So if it's okay, Steve, what kind of fish are you breeding currently? If you don't mind me asking that, because I'm curious. A lot of people are breeding fish these days, and I have a friend that's actually breeding silver dollars right now, believe it or not. And I've been keeping silver dollars for many years, many different types of silver dollars, and I have yet to be able to breed silver dollar. But right now he's only breeding the Mentinus argentis, which is the common everyday silver dollar. So maybe that's why. But if I were to breed silver dollars, I'd want it to be the red hooks or the black bars because those are the ones that sell the most. Okay, and Steve says for the fish store part, if I had a fish store that would set me apart from other stores, it would be the fact that I would have a separate section in the back of the store where I would raise my own fish to sell in the store. That's actually a really good idea. You make a lot of money selling fish that you bred, and you would make a lot of profit doing that, I think. So that's a really, really phenomenal idea. So thank you, Steve, for your answers to those wonderful questions. So right now, while I wait for some more questions to come in, I'm going to go ahead and have a couple of fish discussions with you guys. So this past week on Tuesday, I did an order from an online tropical fish store by the name of Tangled Up in Cichlids. Now, in the past, it was operated by a really nice gentleman who was very knowledgeable on cichlids and everything tropical fish, freshwater wise. His name was Jeff Rapps, but a couple of years ago, he retired. and he handed his business down to another gentleman by the name of Kevin, and Kevin is doing a phenomenal job with Tangled Up in Cichlids right now. So I figured I already bought from Jeff Rapp. I know what his fish were like. So I'm going to go ahead and give Tangled Up in Cichlids another try. I'm going to give the new Tangled Up in Cichlids a try and see what Kevin is like. So I was looking for flagtail Procelotus. The places where I would get them locally were out of flagtails that week. So I decided I'm going to order 4 flagtail Procelotus from tangledupandcichlids.com. And I figured, you know what, I'm going to see if I can keep a small school of flagtail Procelotus. And in the past, I have successfully done it. In the past, I had 5 flagtails living together peacefully. And so far, my 4 flagtails right now, they are getting along. However, there are a few battles, but nothing major. And I think my flagtails will do just fine. Now, I wanted to get a Biricon, but unfortunately, they were out of stock at tangledupandcichlids.com. So I'll have to wait until Kevin gets more Biricons in stock. I also got a couple of Leporinis. I got the famous black and yellow Leporinis fasciatus from Peru. And then there's another species of Leporinis that I've never kept before that I have in my tank right now. And that is a very pretty golden coloration Leporinis. I'll have a video up on my YouTube channel this week for you guys to see all the flagtail Procelotus and the 2 Leporinis that I ended up getting. So that's what I ordered from Tangled Up in Cichlids this past week. And definitely, I do recommend you do order from tangledupandcichlids.com. He has a huge stock list, everything from Central American cichlids to South American cichlids like Oscars, Geophagus, Severums, Waru, Peacock Bass, and Pike cichlids, to wild-caught cherisons and barbs, and of course, catfish and plecos. So go to tangledupandcichlids.com to see his stock list and check out his fish. Highly recommend you purchase from him. You will not be disappointed. So I was actually working when the order came in, so I didn't get to see how they were packed, but they were in great health. And when my brother acclimated them to my aquarium, there was no DOAs. So that's great. In the future, I would like to interview Kevin from Tangled Up in Cichlids right here on Aqua Alex Live. Okay, so Steve says he breeds Turkish cichlids, OB peacock cichlids, and green laser Corydoras. That's pretty awesome. I used to have a friend who bred Corydoras. Her name is Lynn Mathney, and unfortunately, she passed away. But she bred the orange laser Corys and the gold laser Corys and multiple other species of Corydoras catfish. And actually, next Sunday, we're going to do a tribute to my friend Lynn Matney when I talk about Corydoras catfish. So that should be really fun next Sunday. So I look forward to that. Okay, so that's my discussion for Tangled Up in Cichlids.com. Once again, if you are just tuning in live and you have any tropical fish questions that you want me to answer, whether they are freshwater or saltwater, post your questions in the comments, and you can ask as many questions as you want, and I will be glad to answer your questions. So I'm going to check on my social media right now to see if I have any questions that I may have missed. I don't see any on my event page, so we'll continue waiting for some questions to come in. and also hopefully we'll get some on my YouTube video and also my Facebook video. So I look forward to answering your questions as well. So this week on Aqua Alex Live, on Tuesday, I'm going to be doing an episode on flagtail Procelotus at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And then Thursday, I have a special guest interview that I'm very much looking forward to. I'm going to be interviewing someone that's been very loyal to me and has been watching each and every single one of my YouTube videos that I put out there over the last few years. He's also been tuned in to all of my podcasts, including these video podcasts. So I am very excited about that. That's going to be something great. I cannot wait to see how that interview goes. And hopefully it will be an interview that all of my audience members enjoy. And then on Sunday, like I said earlier, I have that special Corydoras episode dedicated to my good friend Lynn Mathney. I'm not sure how I'm going to pull that episode off, but I will do something in memory of Lynn Mathney, and I will talk about Corydoras. Believe it or not, I may be a monster fish keeper at heart, but I do enjoy some of the smaller fish that are available in the freshwater aquarium hobby. And I enjoy some of the community fish like angelfish, discus, German blue rams, tetras, cories, etc. So we have a really, really good question, and it's from my YouTube page. And Ricksrealm is asking, how do you cycle a fish tank? That's a great question, and you're probably going to get a multitude of answers from different fish keepers. So my way of thinking is there is no correct answer when it comes to cycling an aquarium, because every fish keeper is going to have a totally different answer. But in my opinion, if you are absolutely new to the aquarium hobby, meaning your fish tank is new, your stand is new, your filters are new, etc., then what I do is I fill the tank up with fresh water. I fill the filters up. I plug the filters in, and I add a bottle of prime to the aquarium, and that's going to help it cycle. And I do not add any fish to the aquarium for at least 1 week. During that week, I will throw in a pinch or two of fish food to help build up some bacteria in your aquarium. After a week, you could do a small water change and add some fresh water to the aquarium. And after that first week, you can add in some hardy species of fish. Whether it's community fish, you could add like guppies or something. Or if you're going on the predatory side, you could choose a really hardy cichlid. So that is how to cycle a brand new aquarium. Now, if you have already been in the aquarium hobby and you are setting up and you're just setting up another aquarium, then what I do is I take water from my pre-existing aquariums and I fill the tank up with water from my pre-existing aquariums. Of course, I will use established filter media, whether that be filter pads or bio balls. I use established filter media to help speed up a cycle as well. And even if the tank has established water and established media, I still use prime. I am a big believer in C-Chem Prime because it has worked for me. I have never, ever had a single fish loss using C-Chem Prime. However, one time I did not have C-Chem Prime on hand, and I lost a big majority of my aquarium doing a water change. I thought that the Tetra brand of water conditioner was going to be strong enough to handle the South Florida tap water when the city of West Palm Beach or Lake Worth, whatever district I'm in, worked on our water because there was something in it, and they put some harsh chemicals in it. And I thought the Tetra water conditioner would be strong enough, but it was not. So Seachem Prime has never, ever disappointed me as a fish keeper, and it works very well as uh, as a backup product. It also works well as a water conditioner, and most certainly it works well as a tank cycler. Now, there are other products that are just as good as Seachem Prime, like Seachem Startup and some of the other stuff that is out there, but Prime is my go-to. So that was a really good question, and I really thank you for that amazing question. Thank you, Alex. Helpful. Well, I'm glad my answer was helpful. Thank you so much for taking the time to ask that question. I think that was a very beneficial question for my show and all the viewers that are tuned in to my live stream. So, with that being said, if anyone else has any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments, and I will be very happy to answer your questions. So, before I get into answering any more questions, I do have an announcement that I would like to make, and I think that this could be an announcement that some fish keepers are going to like, and some fish keepers may even hate. I don't know if that's true. I'm just guessing, but here it is anyway. So, some friends and I have been talking. I have a couple of fish keeping friends here in South Florida, and this what I'm about to say, we're currently planning it out. So it may or may not happen at this point. We don't know, but we're currently in the planning stages. So right now I am planning on a fish keepers get together. It'll be very similar to Predatory Finn's Monster Fish Bash that he did a couple years ago. I don't think he's doing them any longer. So that's where I decided I was going to step in, and maybe I could do one. But instead of just focusing exclusively on monster fish, I would focus on the entire freshwater hobby as a whole. So my goal is to include monster fish, include community fish, bettas, and goldfish. Now, I don't know when exactly this will take place because there's a lot of planning that needs to go into this. And of course, we have to see where the pandemic is at the time we actually get to making this happen. So this could be a few months from now, or it could be a few years from now. But I kind of want it to be on a big level, like Aquashella is. So what the event is going to be is I'm going to probably host it at either a big, well-known fish store here in South Florida, or I will hold it somewhere outside of a fish store in South Florida. And that is going to include everybody in the aquarium hobby, whether it's monster fish or freshwater or goldfish or koi. So the plan for this event is for it to promote the freshwater side of the hobby more. I know that a lot of people are going to saltwater, and that's fine, and that's well and good. Saltwater is the fun side of the aquarium hobby, but freshwater needs more love too. So my main goal, if this event does take place, is to make sure that freshwater gets well known as well. So I'm going to have some YouTubers doing speeches at this event. I want to have a couple of famous YouTubers like Ohio Fish Rescue if they're able to attend the event. I have a couple of others in mind, like my good friend PF Fishing, Peyton from PF Fishing. And then, of course, I will ask some of the more controversial ones to be there, just because a lot of people enjoy them. I'll ask them to attend. And then, of course, we'll have some of the monster fish guys as well. And the store that I am thinking about hosting the event, at one time they were known as a monster fish store. They specialized only in predatory fish, but now they have changed their names, and now they have like everything freshwater. So I think this event would be beneficial for them because it would get them noted more with other fish keepers in the freshwater hobby as well. Other than speakers from YouTube, there will be vendors selling tropical fish. And then, of course, I will have food and some sort of entertainment during this event. So I don't want to say anything else because I'm not sure if this event is even going to happen, because we have to go through so many hurdles to make this happen. First, we have to get permission. Then I have to put money aside, and we're talking a lot of money in the thousands range. So that's going to be something that I have to work on. I do have help for that, but still, that's a lot of money. And then also, I have to pay for people to fly down here and find them a place to stay for the week long that this event is going to be taking place. Yes, you heard that right. Instead of just a weekend, this will be a week long event. That is not the way I wanted it to be, but the people that I am partnering with, they want it to be a week long event. That way, when people come down here, they can stay for a week and go to Disney World, Universal, etc. So they figured it would be a benefit to South Florida if we did it for a week long. Then again, it could change to just a weekend depending on the pandemic, because it would be really hard if we are to limit the amount of people that can attend. Then how many people will stay a full week? So we'll figure it out. But as of right now, the target date is March of 2022. And if that is not a possibility, then it would be January of 2023. It will be in the winter time when it's nice down here and crappy in other parts of the United States of America. So when I have more information on that, I will speak more freely on that. So I just wanted to bring that up and make you guys aware of it, so maybe you can share your thoughts and opinions on it. All right, let's get to my comments and my questions. So Steve says, Alex, here's a question from my wife that she always asks me. How many fish tanks are too many? That's a great question. In my personal opinion, there are never too many fish tanks. But I say that as a single man and as a man that doesn't have a girlfriend or is married. So my answer could change in the next 10 years or so. However, if your living room and your whole house is flooded with aquariums, then that's too many aquariums. But if you like many species of fish, like I do, sometimes you have to have multiple aquariums. I think having multiple aquariums is pretty cool, but it turns out to be a lot of work because that's a lot of water changes you have to do, a lot of feedings you have to do, etc. So if you have too many aquariums, it could be a problem because you might not be able to handle all the aquariums. That's why a lot of the local fish stores, some people say they're run by one person, but behind the scenes, he's having his family help him, whether or not he pays them or not. I have worked for a guy who claimed his fish store was owned by himself only, but then he had fish keepers like me help him for free because he could not handle all the aquariums, all the bioload, all the water changes, all the feedings. So if you find yourself with all those problems, then you have too many tanks at the time. So that would be my best guess, is if you're not enjoying the aquarium hobby because you're overrun with aquariums, that is when you have too many aquariums. But for me, I have never had that issue because I only have one or two aquariums right now. And for me right now, it's only a 75. However, I will be getting a bigger aquarium to upgrade my large growing fish to. I want to say a 180, but it could also be a 150 gallon. Um, but once I do get that bigger tank, the 75 gallon will either become a community tank or another saltwater tank. Okay, so Rick says he likes community fish. They are a great fish. I do enjoy the community side of the hobby. I like the colorful Serpe tetras, the rummy nose tetras, and the bristle nose plectos, and things like that. Rick says he has endlers, guppies, and cherry shrimp. Now, the cherry shrimp, they are very nice. The freshwater shrimp that are out there are absolutely beautiful. I like the red ones and blue shrimp. I'm not very knowledgeable about them, but they are a gorgeous species of invert. I also like freshwater crayfish. I have a friend, Crayfish King James Jones, who is going to be getting back into crayfish eventually. Rick also says he likes Corydoras catfish too. I do as well, and I cannot wait to talk about them next Sunday as I do it in memory of my friend Lynn Matney, who passed away a few days before Thanksgiving a few years ago. And Rick's answer for how many fish tanks are too many is it's too many if you can't take care of them properly. And I agree 100% with that. That is a great response. So those were all wonderful statements. So if anyone else has any questions, you can post them in the comments below. And I think this was a very successful first Fish Keepers Q&A. Some wonderful questions. And I look forward to next month's Q&A. It's hard to believe how fast this year is going by. We're already in August, and we've got what? Let's see, September, October, 4 months left in the year. So it's going by pretty fast, so that's great. Hopefully by December, COVID will be gone, and we will be back to our normal lives. So I'm going to end this video in a few seconds. Oh, we have another question. This is a really interesting question. Alex, fish die all the time in this aquarium hobby, but which fish death hit you the hardest? You know, as a fish keeper, I have experienced quite a number of fish deaths, so it will be hard for me to pick a particular species of fish or a particular fish death. But I'll name a couple for you. One of the dream fish that I got a couple years ago was a Durant's catfish, which is a species of monster catfish from South America. And I had him in my 125-gallon aquarium with similar sized fish. However, he got picked on and eventually he passed away. So I think it's because he got picked on, he never started eating. And when you don't eat, you don't get the nutrients that you need. So unfortunately for him, he passed away. Another fish that hit me the hardest was another species of South American catfish that come from the Brachyplasma species. This catfish is known as the slobbering catfish, very similar in appearance to the Paraiba. This catfish died because it was getting picked on by what was supposed to be a peaceful cichlid, festivums. The festivums were nipping his barbs off and nipping at him, so I think it was stress that killed him. Another death that hit me hard was my very first Giardini arowana. He died by jumping out like most arowanas do. But, knock on wood, I haven't had an arowana jump since. And now I've got two arowanas that are coexisting together. So hopefully I will not have any more arowanas jumping out on me. Last but not least will be a rookie mistake that I made when I first got into saltwater. And that is when I rushed into adding many species of saltwater fish into a saltwater aquarium at the same time. This was in 2016 when my 120-gallon aquarium was set up as a saltwater tank. So at the time, after I added all those particular saltwater fish, it was fine for a week. Then after that, fish started getting velvet, which is deadly in saltwater fish. And also they got ick, and one by one, they all perished. So after every single saltwater fish died, and almost losing $2,000 in value, I had to restart. And it was at that point where I almost quit the aquarium hobby because $2,000 is a lot of money to lose, especially in saltwater. So I did my research. I went to various saltwater only tropical fish stores, picking their brains of knowledge. And I decided I'm going to do what they told me, which was I had to recycle the saltwater aquarium and I had to run it for a few months with no fish in it just to make sure that the velvet and ick would be gone. And then every month I could add a species of fish, one particular fish each month. And that is what I did. So I added one fish the first month, I added another the next month, and then the third month I added a few fish at a time, which was fine. And then into the fifth month, that is when it was all good. So nothing happened after I waited a few months to add fish to that saltwater aquarium. So those I would say are the hardest fish deaths that have hit me personally. So I'm going to bring that question back to all of my viewers. Which fish death hit you guys the hardest? I'd be interested to see your replies. So hopefully we'll get some interesting replies. Steve says, "What about your eel?" Oh, the fire eel in the Christmas tree. Yeah, that one was pretty tough. I forgot about that one. Um, I think it was like 16 or 17 at the time, and I had a Christmas tree right next to my fish tank, and the eel must have climbed or escaped the aquarium and climbed his way up the tree, which is pretty creepy if you're not a fish keeper. So imagine my mom finding an eel wrapped up around the Christmas tree dry. That was pretty disgusting. When I picked up the eel, it was dry to a bone. It made a noise like a potato chip crunching. So that was pretty gross. But the lesson learned from that is not to put a Christmas tree near an aquarium because a fish that is normally nocturnal is probably going to think that that's a giant hiding spot. So I assume that is probably why the eel escaped and why he wrapped himself around a Christmas tree. Not the smartest thing for the eel, but again, it's a fish, so he doesn't really know any better. I guess that's why he did it. I'm not saying that's the exact reason he did it, but it really is interesting. So, going back to your question about which fish death hit you the hardest, today actually I had a fish death, but it was not my fault. I was actually getting ready for this live stream right now, and I saw my Armatus pariah chasing after my freshwater wolf herring. And then in a split second, the pariah opened up his big mouth. And you know how Armatus pariah, they have barracuda teeth, saber teeth. And the barracuda or the pariah bit the wolf herring right in half, almost severing his head. So that was very hard to watch. And then, of course, the red-bellied pacu being scavengers, they bit into him, and then my vulture cats finished him off. So sorry it's a little bit gruesome, but I figured I would bring that up. Okay, so Rick says he had a betta that I really liked a lot that died a few months ago. I'm sorry to hear that. He was very friendly and interactive. Sad. That is very sad. I'm sorry to hear about your betta. Great show, Alex. Thank you, Rick. Thank you so much for tuning in. It really means a lot to me, and I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I look forward to doing this monthly. I think it's going to be a great benefit to the aquarium hobby, and hopefully by the time my event rolls around, I will be more popular in the aquarium hobby. I know that some people don't think I am a good fish keeper because I keep monster fish in a 75-gallon aquarium. But after all, this is an aquarium hobby, so we are free to keep fish that we enjoy. That's my philosophy on this situation. And I respect every fish keeper, whether they keep monsters or community fish. So Steve says, I had a purple tang that died that really hit me hard. It was a favorite of the whole family and quite a rare, expensive fish, too. Yes, purple tangs are a very gorgeous fish, very expensive up here at least. The purple tang up here is like $300 to $400, so that is a really, really expensive fish to lose, and I'm very sorry to hear that happened to you. The thing with saltwater fish is that they can die on a whim. There really isn't a specific reason for saltwater fish dying. Most of them are wild caught, so the stress of being removed from the ocean and placed into an aquarium box can be too much for them to handle. So that is why I hope a majority of saltwater fish by 2030 are captive bred, but we shall see. Alrighty. This was a great video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. So I'm going to announce next month's Q&A so that you can send your questions in advance. So next month, my second episode of Aqua Alex Live Fish Keepers Q&A is going to air live Sunday, September 19th, 2021, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So I hope you guys will tune into that episode of Fish Keepers Q&A next month, Sunday, September 19th at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. So to be better prepared for next month, you can film a video asking tropical fish questions and email it to my email, which is on the screen there. And it is Alex Go Yankees Cardinale 19@gmail.com by September 18th, 2021. Now, if you don't want to film a video, that's totally fine. You can also text your questions. You can also email me your text questions, and I'll make sure to answer them next month on Sunday, September 19th. All right, folks? So get those questions in for next month. And if there are any people who caught this video in the archive and you have posted questions in the comments, your questions will be the first ones answered next month on September 19th. Okay? All right, I think it's time to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for taking the time for tuning in. So thank you for watching, Fish Keepers. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Like always, I'm going to end today's video by making sure you leave a like button on today's video. Leave a like. Share this video with all your friends and family. And if you have not already, subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Real Alex Cardinale, for more awesome videos and more video podcasts. Also today, I uploaded an update on my aquarium and a silver arowana unboxing video. So go check it out, Fish Keepers. With that being said, have a great rest of your Sunday night. Have a great week, and I will see you next time here on the Real Alex Cardinale YouTube channel, Alex Cardinale Facebook page, and the next time on Aqua Alex Live. Goodbye, fish keepers. Take on, enjoy the aquarium hobby, and remember, fish keeping is fun. Let's keep it fun, my friends. Goodbye, everybody.